Hi, I'm Dr. Kurt Omthank, and this is the video syllabus for Biology 471, Computing for Biology and Bioinformatics. Before I get into the specifics of this class, let me just address one thing first. None of us expected to be in this position just a few weeks ago. I didn't originally design this course to be taught online, and I've never taught an online class before. And you didn't expect to be taking an online class when you signed up for it. On top of that, I know for many of you, this class, or any of your classes, are not going to be the most important thing going on in your life. Nor should they be. Being away from class may have put some of you in positions that are not ideal for your learning, and might be downright terrible for you, period. Over the course of this quarter, you, or someone you love, could end up getting sick. There are really 1,000 reasons that at some point during this quarter, you might not have the emotional or physical bandwidth for this class. And that is okay. That is even normal. And you don't owe me an explanation as to why that is. But if you can, please let me know. I am here to help. My goal with this class is not to weigh and measure you to see if you stack up. My goal is that you come away from this class with some knowledge and some skills that help you somewhere down the road. My aim is to be a guide and a mentor. I'm not here to be a taskmaster. If we all give each other a little bit of patience and understanding and help, I think we can all get through this. So, with all of that in mind, let's talk a bit about the class. So I imagine that all of you know what this is. And really, for as long as biology has been a discipline of science, microscopes have been the instrument that has been most inextricably linked with biology. Really, a microscope often is used as kind of like the symbol of biology. However, as we move into our current age, honestly, computers are displacing microscopes as the quintessential biological instruments. As this biological writer writes, computers are the microscopes of the 21st century. And personally, I think that actually sells computers a little bit short, because computers are far more pervasive through all of the various disciplines of biology than microscopes ever were. There is not a discipline in biology that is untouched by the tools that computing brings to bear. This is just especially obvious right now as we're going through the current pandemic that we are. This is a phylogeny of the genomes that we currently have sequenced for the novel coronavirus. We're up to nearly 1,500. And being able to analyze these genomes gives us really, really good ideas about how it is spreading, how it is changing, the dynamics that it takes going through the population. This kind of analysis is fundamental and necessary to being able to fight back the virus that we're currently facing. And it's this kind of analysis that has displaced a lot of older technologies and is completely unthinkable if you do not have computing at your aid. So the objective of this class, what I want you to get out of this is I want to introduce you to the ways that computers are used as a tool of biological research. So with that, let's just talk a little bit about the structure of the class as a whole and not really talk about what we're teaching for just a moment. As you probably have seen at this point already, this class is online. And it's also asynchronous, meaning that there are no set meeting times that you have to be meeting with me or meeting with your classmates online in order to complete the class. You can do it on your own schedule. So don't think that you necessarily need to carve out some particular time during the day. Now, that being said, I am going to have a weekly open lab period. This is going to be Thursdays, 2 to 5 p.m. This is going to be the same time period that we would have had this our lab anyhow. And I'm going to make myself available through Microsoft Teams during this time to help out with any assessments or labs that you might be having trouble with. So I am there to help you personally during those times. Now, there's another way. Now, you might not be able to make it during that time period, and that is totally fine. That's totally okay. I also am going to be available to meet by appointment. And you'll be able to make appointments with me, online appointments with me, through my appointment making webpage at u.nu/onthankappointment. Okay, let's just go quickly through how you make those appointments. Again, you type in u.nu/onthankappointment. And you should be taken to this page. What you would do is you'd select this online 30-minute appointment. You would go down and you could select a date, let's say April 1st, and a time over here that I currently have available, let's say 2 p.m. And then you go down and select, type in your name. So I am Kurt Onthank, and your email. And then go ahead, and I'd like you to put in here, tell me what you want to meet about. If there's some specific problem that you're having, it'd be useful for you to put that in there so I have a little bit of heads up and I can familiarize myself with the problem so we can get right to fixing it. So let's say I am stuck with the loop on assessment 3, something like that. Okay, and we're going to hit book. And it's going to go ahead and go to this. Now, one thing that might happen is it might hang here and say working on it for a very, very long time. Let's go ahead and hit refresh, and it just pops us right back here, and you might be tempted to make another one. Now, if it does that, and it seems to do this a lot, wait a few minutes to see if an email shows up confirming your appointment. It likely will. Shortly after you make that appointment, you should get an email that says your 30-minute online appointment is confirmed. Go ahead and go into there, and it's going to actually give you this confirmation, but also it's going to have down here this link to join Teams meeting. Both of us can click on that at the time of our appointment, and it'll put us directly into a Teams meeting in which we can talk together. Because I designated this to be an online appointment, it includes that link right there. Let's talk for a moment about the class portals that you will use online to get access to the class and the things that we're going to be doing in the class. Really, everything that you need to successfully complete this class is going to be on Desire to Learn. That includes my pre-recorded lectures. That includes all the assessments and labs that you need to download and work on. You would turn in the assessments and labs on D2L as well. Any other materials that I have for you, like data sets or example code or anything else like that, I'm going to be putting up on D2L. And then finally, also the gradebook is going to be on D2L as well. So everything that you need, you can do on D2L. Now, there's going to be a couple other things that I'm going to do on Microsoft Teams as well. The open labs, which I'm going to talk about in a few moments, and then also any one-on-one meetings or help that we have would be on Microsoft Teams primarily. Now, with the one-on-one meetings or help, I am actually okay using any sort of video chat or phone call or however works best for you. Microsoft Teams is what the school is using and trying to get us all to use, but really I am flexible and I can use anything other than FaceTime, which I don't have an Apple, I don't have a Mac, so I can't use FaceTime, but anything else, Skype, Google Hangouts, if it works better for you, or even just a phone call, I am good with that as well. So I prefer to use Microsoft Teams and just kind of keep it all synonymous and the same. So if that works for you, let's try that out. But I can use anything for our one-on-one meetings that works for you except for FaceTime. All of my lectures are going to be posted online to D2L. These are going to be pre-recorded, and I'll throw them up there that you can watch them at your leisure, at a time that works well for you. If any of you have taken animal physiology, this is going to be very similar to how I worked it for animal physiology, the outside of class lectures that you need to watch for that class. I am going to put due dates on these. That's not something that I did for animal physiology. And the point of this is not to actually make them do at those times, but when I put due dates in D2L, it gives you reminders that this is coming up. Now, the idea about that is to kind of help give you a reminder to watch those videos to help kind of keep you on pace through the quarter. I'm a little bit worried about the online format is that it'd be really easy to push everything off till the end of the quarter and then just be completely overwhelmed about how much you have to do. Now, I really hope that doesn't happen. I'm going to try to do what I can to help keep you on that pace. Now, that being said, it's not necessarily going to be possible for all of you to do that. And these due dates are not binding. You don't have to worry about losing out on points if you don't keep up with them. Also, there's going to be a schedule in the syllabus that I post onto D2L. So I will have an actual syllabus up on D2L, and there is going to be a schedule that is really mostly a suggested schedule, except for a couple due dates I'm going to talk about in just a few minutes. Let's talk about how assessment works. How do the points and the assignments work in this class? So there are going to be, over the course of this class, 31 basic assessments, really just essentially assignments that you do. Each of these is worth 1 point each. There are going to be 18 applied, where you show that you can actually do the procedures, the functions that we talk about in class. And there are going to be 13 of those that are theoretical, which essentially are, do you understand the theoretical underpinnings of the procedures that we're doing? For each of those, it's going to be essentially you write out a sentence or a few sentences, maybe a paragraph, in a Word document, and then submit that on D2L. In addition, there are going to be 9 advanced applied assessments. Each of these are going to be significantly harder than the basic applied assessments, and they're going to be each worth 2 points apiece. And then finally, there's also going to be 10 labs. Each of these are going to take you probably a little bit longer, but they're not going to be insanely difficult, so to speak. Most of these are going to be very step-by-step instructions, really hold your hand through going through these procedures. They'll take a while generally to do, but they're not going to be they're not made to be particularly challenging. Each of those are worth 2 points each as well. All of that added up, that comes out to 69 points possible for the class. Now, as I grade these, you'll notice that it's weird that they're all 1 point or 2 point, and that's because each of these are all or nothing. Either you do the thing correctly and you get a point or 2 points, or you don't do it correctly and you get 0 points. Now, that might be a little bit intimidating because you're worried about, well, I don't get any credit if I don't do it right. You do have 3 chances to redo any assessment. So if you don't get it right at first, you are going to have an opportunity to go back, do it again, and get the credit for it. And in fact, you could, even if you don't get it right that time, do it again and try to get the credit for it. So don't get too intimidated by that. Okay, so let's talk about how the final letter grades are going to be assigned. So number one, I'm laying out these brackets in such a way in which actually they don't line up to the percentage that you would get if you simply divide the number of points that you earn by the total number of points. So for instance, you will get an A if you get 60 points or more total in the class, you get an A. Now, that being said, 60 divided by 69 is not 90%. It's not 94 or 93% what it normally takes to get an A. These tiers are quite a bit below that. So we're talking like really, this is like 86% of the total points. How I came up with that is you get an A if you are able to go through and complete all of the basic assessments, applied and theoretical, all of the labs, and then you're able to complete half of the advanced applied assessments. That earns you an A. Now, the advanced applied assessments are going to be relatively challenging. They show that you really can dig in and apply the things that we're talking about. Now, if you can't do all of those, that is okay. You can still get or if you can't do half of those, you can still get a fairly strong grade in this class. And so, so essentially every tier down from there then is one less advanced applied assessment from there. So we're really talking about 2 points down from each of those. Now you can do different combinations. Actually, down from each of these, there's different combinations that you can do. You could do fewer of the basic assessments and more of the advanced applied assessments if you want to and still get to the 60. But the point being is that you don't have to earn 93% of the points to get an A. It's somewhat tiered back from that. Now, you might be wondering, when are all these assessments and things going to be due? And there are going to be really just 3 due dates over the course of this quarter. The first is going to be on Friday, April 24th. That's when all assessments 1 through 5 are due, and then labs 1 through 3 are due. And so that's when you have to have those in. And this includes the redos, and so you want to make sure that you're doing those, fairly quickly, so that you can do the redos as well as if you want to do those. Friday, May 15th, the assessments 6 through 10 are due, and also labs 4 through 6 are due. And then finally on Monday, June 10th, on finals week, this is during finals week, this is a Monday of finals week, assessments 11 through 16 are due, and labs 7 through 10 are due. Also, all the advanced applied assessments are not due until finals week. So you can do those, you have until the end of the quarter to do those. Now that being said, I would not try to save them all for the end. They're going to take you a reasonable amount of time, so I'd try to space them out as much as you possibly can. So that's how that works. Now, one last thing I want to say is, through all of this, talk with me. Keep the lines of communication open to me as much as you possibly can. This is my first time teaching an online class. I can't say that I'm going to do it perfectly well. And for many of you, this might be the first time taking an online class as well. Now, the best way for us to get through this is to keep open lots of lines of communication and having a lot of patience and grace with each other as well. So I think if we can talk together quite a bit, and I'm going to make myself available as I possibly can to talk with you, I think we're going to get through this okay. And I hope that you come out the end of this quarter with a lot of new skills, that you are seeing tons of ways that you can apply them, even immediately, to things that you are doing. That's really my goal with this, is that you have tangible skills to use. Okay, I'm excited for teaching this class. I'm excited for interacting with all of you, so let's get to it.